It's Fernando Ruiz Art. Hi everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Fernando, and let's jump in. Today we are going to draw Betty from Archie Comics. Now, those of you who've hung in there with my videos and you've watched me draw before, you may be like me. I'm doing this video because somebody actually requested that I do a video specifically on Betty. And I thought for sure, with all the videos I've done drawing the Archie gang, I thought for sure I must have covered Betty before. But I looked back in the catalog there, in the video library, and I've drawn Betty in other things. I've drawn full body videos on Betty. I drew Betty not too long ago with Jughead, but I never did a video on Betty herself. So so I'm gonna correct that with this one. Now, if you saw my video on drawing Veronica, really, as we've all suspected, and this is the honest truth, there's really not much difference between Betty and Veronica. Not a whole lot. I pretty much draw them both pretty much the same way. Of course, the big difference coming in their hair. But facially, they all have the same Dan DiCarlo-esque type of face. Now, I started out with a simple sphere, not really an oval, more of an actual ball, and I threw down this kind of quick, sort of these curved crosshairs. That's pretty much the extent of a face grid that I give the Archie characters. Because the Archie characters, of course, they're cartoons. They're very stylized. They don't really follow the realistic, anatomically correct grid that I use for a real face. And that's certainly a video that I have covered before, and you guys could see my realistic face grid in fact, I think I did a few videos on that, which you guys can look up. So I just throw down a quick, it's almost like a crosshairs, and they're slanted into the direction that the character is facing. As I've said in my other videos on the Archie characters, there are no straight-on views. None of the characters ever look directly at the camera. So they're always in what we call a three-quarter view, either facing slightly to the right, or to the left, or to the right. So here Betty is facing slightly to our left, her right. So I've curved the crosshairs into that direction. And right on the horizontal line of the crosshairs, I will rest her eyes. Her eyes, as you can see, it's kind of an ellipse, kind of an open half of an ellipse, starting out thin and getting thicker towards the outer part of the eye, and then that one singular eyelash going up. When I was drawing for Archie, there was always one inker who shall remain nameless, and I couldn't stand his work. And it didn't matter if I liked him or not. Archie Comics was always going to be using him, so I was stuck with him on my work. But he had a tendency to overemphasize these eyelashes. Even though I would put in just like a single lash, he would go in and do like a bunch of lashes, and they always ended up looking like haunted dolls or gaudy prostitutes when he was done with them. So I really hated his stuff. Fortunately, he's dead now, so he can't hurt anybody else's pencils. Okay, now that I've done the eyelashes, the eyes, Now the nose, the big mystery of the girl's nose. The nose is really a diagonal line and then a curve. The curve is to emphasize a little bit of a cast shadow from their cute little upturned noses. Sometimes I see this drawn as really triangular and really centered, and it ends up looking just like a triangular hole in their face, or like an upside down cat's nose. But that's what it is. It's just a slant with a curve to it. And I do it a little bit below this horizontal line, and a little bit off to whatever side their head is facing. Also threw in a little bit of a highlight into the pupil here, just because this is a fairly big head. We're close to it. Normally, back in the day, I wouldn't have done that because on the comic page, their faces are going to be so much smaller, and in the digest even more so. Okay, now for her mouth, and I'm gonna have her smiling because Betty is always happy and nice. It's going to be kind of a slightly curved line, and underneath that another one to complete that upper lip. She's going to be smiling, so I'm going to curve up the corners into a little bit of a dimple there. And then the lower half of her mouth is going to be curving around like this and like that. Now, back in the day when I was drawing the characters, on the comic pages, I used to fill in that upper lip like this. I would keep it black, just because, again, keeping in mind the reduction of the characters when they're reduced to the actual comic page. If that was kept open, it tends to look a little bit busy. So Betty's face is coming together. Now I'm going to shape her head, and this is the same way I would shape both girls' heads. I'm going to come down into the face a little bit at the eye, at that halfway mark with that horizontal line that I added in. I'm going to lighten this up a little bit. I'm going to curve out and then curve down and up. Maybe bring it in a little bit. I don't want to give her too much chin because then she'll look too plump, I guess. So I'm going to trim that down, curve, bring that up. I'm going to do like the lower half of her ear rather, because I'm going to cover up the upper half of it in a moment. I'm going to give Betty eyebrows. Again, the eyebrows, even though Betty's a blonde, her eyebrows were black for the same reason as I would darken in that upper lip. Sometimes open shapes just end up being too busy. It's just a lot simpler to just blacken some stuff in. Okay, now the big difference with Betty is her hair. And even that is somewhat similar to Veronica. Basically, Betty has these two bangs separated by one pointy strand of hair, but she's got these two bangs towards the front, like this. I always throw that random strand coming up at the top. Around the sides, it's kind of pulled back. She may have some other strands. This gets pulled back. Sometimes Betty could be drawn with a couple of strands hanging loose, but typically her hair is usually pulled back fairly tightly. And then this gets pulled back, and this gathers back behind Betty's head, right at the base of her neck. And then, of course, Betty has her main trademark, a couple of other strands of hair here, but her main trademark is the ponytail. And the ponytail, I would sometimes vary too. Sometimes I would draw the ponytail low, but typically, most classically, her ponytail would be hanging from up high. And Betty could be looking over her shoulder very cutely. And we've got a Betty, pretty much. We've got Betty. Sometimes in the close-ups you'll see we'll give her a little bit of a bridge on her nose. I'm not a big fan. Sometimes in some of the older comics you might see those lines cutting across the bridge of the nose like that. I'm not a big fan of those. I think those busy up the face too and take away from the girl's cuteness. I don't know who started that, who put that on the map. And I do remember at one point at Archie, we did receive the decree, the official decree to get rid of that, to not have that anymore. So here is a penciled Betty. I might, I don't know if I'll do a video on coloring this Betty. I might ink her and color her in one of my classes at the Kubert School, because we're at that time of year where I'm going to do some marker demos for the guys. So I may do that one there. And then, of course, I will post the finished Betty all across my social media. So please keep an eye out for that. Now, another video I want to do, and this is another one where I had to think to myself, didn't I cover that? And I looked in and I did not. But somebody requested, and forgive me, I forget who put in this request, but I thought it was a good idea. And that is to show how I draw the girls in profile. And you may be wondering, you know, is that really a big enough deal? Is that really a worthwhile topic? And you know, there is something to it. The girls in profile, the girls period are tricky enough. But in profile, there's things to talk about there. So I'm going to do, even if it's a quick video, I'm going to do a video where I do cover the girls in profile. So and that one will probably come up fairly quick. So please be on the lookout. And as always, any ideas for videos, anything, any characters you'd like to see me cover, please let me know in the comments below. Okay? As always, if you enjoyed this video, please click like, and don't be shy about sharing. That's part of how we get the word out. Click like, share, subscribe. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed, and don't forget to hit that bell to be notified for future videos. And I will see you guys in those future videos. Okay? Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody. Keep drawing. Keep drawing.